Welcome to Swolehammer. Even though we love the skirmish gameplay of Warcry and Kill Team, there's something to be said about fielding a big army. Hence why I started New to Old World. The mission is simple. Make a fun and efficient 1,000-point list from a specific faction while making it as easy as possible to acquire and enjoy to hobby on. The criteria is as follows. We avoid making lists with repeat models unless unavoidable. The emphasis will be on plastic models, but there will be a lot of resin and metal ones as well. It's the nature of the game. And on that note, we will use new and old versions of models for these lists, and they'll be noted in the videos as such. There's multiple versions of a lot of models out there, and it's kind of negligible at this point, but it's just good to know we'll be focusing on newer ones usually. So rally your undead as we go over the vampire counts. So why play vampire counts? Do you like your armies with classic undead vibes, every single horror movie monster and more at your bony fingertips? Well then, the vampire counts are for you. Vampire counts are the pre-Soulblight, pre-Legions of Nagash for you Sigmar players out there. Vampire-led forces that utilize zombies, skeletons, direwolves, fellbats, while having access to smatterings of what are now known as Flesh Eater Courts and Nighthaunt models. This is the dream, or shall I say nightmare mashup, of ghouls, ghosts, and zombie dragons that you've always wanted. On the tabletop, you're required to have a wizard in your army, since they're technically animating said army. With your leader behind you, you have an undead regeneration, a ward save of sorts, and are a terror to deal with a monumental variety of models at your disposal. However, if the leader topples, your army is at the mercy of your opponent, a truly devious risk and reward system, as some of your leader options are absolute beatsticks and want to be in the mix. So on to the buy list, and we're starting off with some newer boxes this time, those being the Soulblight Gravelords Vanguard box and the Soulblight Gravelords Start Collecting. This will give you a smorgasbord of undead to start with that you'll want in any Vampire Counts army. There are newer versions of models in these boxes, but they count towards Old World all the same. Just make sure they're on the square bases. This MSRP will run you around $230 or less. And as we'll find out with the list itself, it'll actually get you more than 1,000 points and well onto 1,250 and soon 2,000. Speaking of the list, we have our Vampire Counts list. The Vampire Lord will be a Vampire Count upgraded to a Wizard level 2, have a great weapon, shield, and heavy armor, making them a great caster and very hard to eat through. While the White King will be on Skeletal Steed from the Start Collecting box, equipped with a lance and shield, leading a unit of Black Knights. Then 15 Graveguard, just enough to fill out the points that we needed, 20 Skeletal Warriors, and Blood Knights. These units are mostly kitted out with all the standards, musicians, and champions that you'll want. And as the unit composition itself, you have 2 units of Shock Attack Cavalry and 35 bodies for your opponent to eat through. And onto expanding your army, and you still have Vargeists and other units from those boxes that we haven't used, but you'll need to fill your army list with more core options as you go higher up. Flesh Eater Courts Start Collecting is a perfect point to go with because all these models are usable and Crypt Ghouls are core, or if you just want to go for a more ghoulish theme. Black Coach, on the other hand, is another good pick as it is usable in Old World and just a sick model. Lastly, the Regiment of Renown that has the Corpse Cart and Zombies kit that was re-released recently will also be a good add because zombies are core and Corpse Carts are cool. So that's it. I could delve deeper into parts of like the list building and all that stuff, but it takes a lot of experimentation to see how you want to run your army in Old World. So I hope you enjoyed this dive into how to start an army in Old World. The faction that I started with was voted on by our viewers, as we're going through the free legacy factions first because they're obviously free and very easily accessible to get you guys into it as fast as possible. As always, this is Rafik from Swolehammer. Stay swole.